Anyone venturing outdoors in the Indian capital Delhi today is taking a risk. Air quality charts state if they stay outside for too long, they could contract a respiratory illness. Yet today is an improvement on what the city has been going through for the last few weeks. The government has been forced to take measures to curb off-the-scale levels of pollution, including banning some cars, halting construction work, and for the first time ever, closing schools. It seems schools now will be able to open on Monday, but there's still no long-term solution to the pollution problem in sight. As DW's Manira Chaudhary reports, that has forced some to consider leaving the city altogether.
Meet Malhotra has lived most of his life in Delhi, and he has paid the price. A lawyer by profession, Malhotra developed severe asthma in childhood when his family moved to Delhi. Their home was next to a bus depot, and diesel fumes were everywhere. He has lived with asthma ever since. Now, almost 60 years old, he is considering leaving the capital city.
Personally speaking, I have an option, and I can explore that option of leaving the city. It's a very difficult option to exercise, but the option is certainly available to me. And there are millions of people who do not have this privilege.
Every winter, the pollution level in Delhi skyrockets as dipping temperature makes it harder for pollutants to disperse. Clean air becomes a sought-after commodity.
I would definitely move to a different city where if I have the needed resources, I will definitely shift to that city, given that Delhi pollution is becoming a very big problem for all of us.
If I get the chance, I'd like to move back to my hometown because there isn't much pollution there.
Vehicular exhaust, industrial emissions and construction activities are the major sources of pollution in the capital. Crop burning in neighboring states also contributes to the haze that settles around the city for weeks on end. To deal with the problem of increasing air pollution, the Delhi government has ordered all schools to shut down all physical classes. It also implemented a temporary curb on all construction activities and asked all government employees to work from home for a limited period, advising private offices to do the same. Just how serious the capital's problem is was revealed in a recent survey conducted in Delhi and neighboring areas. It found that nearly 22% of families had someone who has already visited a doctor or a hospital due to a pollution-related ailment. Malhotra filed a petition years ago asking the courts to put a curb on private diesel vehicles, which he says are much more polluting than petrol-run vehicles. It never got taken up for hearing by the courts. The 59-year-old calls the situation in Delhi a collective failure of the national and the state government.
Every time I think of moving, it's my work that keeps me back. But if I lose a substantial part of the work, then I think at this stage, I can't say anything more than too bad.
While the national and the state governments continue to pass the buck over the issue of pollution, Malhotra fears he will be forced to leave the city he built his life in, a choice few Delhi residents have the luxury to make.
It's also a similar story with smog in Lahore in neighboring Pakistan. The city is one of the 3 most polluted in the world, according to a Swiss air quality monitoring company. Similar to Delhi here too, residents are facing the effects of industrial and vehicular pollution and smoke from crop burning. It's prompted authorities to organize so-called anti-smog squads to intervene where they can.
They patrol the streets of Lahore, now regularly among the most polluted cities in the world. Their task? To hunt for those contributing to the worsening air quality. The residents of the city are suffering greatly, and the government's anti-smog squad is trying to find the many sources of the problem. Like this factory in an industrial area in Lahore that releases copious amounts of smoke. The squad can see it from afar.
As we were moving, we saw a smoke cloud from afar, so we followed it and reached here and identified this mill, which is operating without any scrubber. There was no emissions control device installed, and it was not using any precautionary measures through which particulate matter could be suppressed.
Factories like these that violate basic protective measures will be shut down. The squad wastes no time in evacuating the people and closing the factory. When the workers burn substandard fuel, they release far more carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide into the atmosphere. This causes breathing problems and irritation, and worse for those who struggle with allergies. The squads are currently in Lahore, but the smog problem extends far beyond the city.
There are multiple factors. One is the regional factor, which is the biggest one. The whole region is covered in smog right now, not just Lahore. Shutting down all of Lahore's industries and traffic may reduce the smog, but not eliminate it.
The problem goes far beyond what a small squad can achieve. But given air quality like this, every bit helps.
And for more, I'm joined now by the author of that report, DW reporter Varda Imran. Varda, welcome. You are from Karachi, but you have been to Lahore. Tell us what it's like to breathe that polluted air in that city.
Well, Paresh, as you've seen on the report, it's actually a physical smoke, fog, smog that's there in the air. And it's the kind of pollution that you can see, that you can taste and smell. I remember that when I got off of the airport, you can actually breathe in and your instant reaction is to cough because it's not normal to breathe that kind of air. And the people who live there and they have respiratory problems or lung issues, they're most affected by this kind of pollution. So when you're there, it's not something that you just smell. It's like a whole sensational feeling of the pollution.
Your report talked about these anti-smog squads. I wonder how much of an effective solution they are to the problem. I mean, doesn't change need to happen at source, particularly with new regulations and enforcement?
Well, you're absolutely right. And this anti-smoke squads are actually a short-term solution to what is actually a much larger problem. And I think the government sees that because recently the Minister of Environmental Planning of Punjab has sent out a request saying that they need a kind of waiver on the import tax for certain tools that are used to measure the levels of pollution. As you must have also seen in the report that we just saw, that the Commissioner said that a lot of these don't have the necessary tools to measure the amount of pollution that they're causing. So I think it needs to start with kind of measuring how it is and then moving towards measures of cutting it down.
Right. And in terms of cutting it down, how much of an issue is this for people? I mean, you talked about people having respiratory problems and other issues as a result of this pollution. How much of an issue is this amongst them? How much of a change is being demanded by the people in Lahore?
Well, the people of Lahore, and particularly the province of Punjab, have in recent years realized that this has become an annual problem because, you know, as we already saw in the previous reports, that this happens in certain times of seasonal change when crops are being cleared for different farming. And so for that perspective, a lot of people have started to realize that it's something that can damage you in much longer effects. Children are being impacted by it. But on a larger level, on a federal level of the country, the awareness is not as much. And because the farmers are also involved in it, it's a different perspective on who is doing it for what reason and who is bearing the brunt of it.
It's always a political hot-button issue that pollution is, but it also affects the lives of the people. Varda Imran, thanks so much for coming into the studio and breaking that down for us.